Alright, so the project at hand over the next couple months is with this Gator. This is the second season, I guess, that I've had this Gator. I bought it off of Craigslist back in May of 2019. I bought it for $200. The engine worked and transmission worked, but it had a whole bunch of rust. I'll actually put up a couple pictures of how bad it actually was. So we'll kind of go over it, see what I've done, what still needs to be done, and kind of talk all about it.
So here's a picture of my John Deere Gator soon after I bought it. You can see it's got this front plastic here being held up. And you can see a lot of the rust here, and how the platform here is pretty much just being ripped right off. All these tires in the back, I believe 3 out of the 4 in the back were all flat, so I did get new tubes for those, and so forth. So here's another picture. You can see just how dirty and rusty this was. So this is looking down right where the seats would be. The shifter lever would be in here, so it's just really dirty and getting rusted out. You can see the platform for the feet where it's just kind of deteriorating and rusting, and it's a whole bunch of dirt all in there. This is a picture right by where the wheel wells, the wheel bearings are bolted in. So they're bolted in with these 4 holes, and you can just see how rusted this is. Not much holding it on, so I did end up fixing it up. You can see here, this is after I put some metal in. So I welded a whole new piece in here and cut that out. So the difference in color is the grinder that I took to it, and the darker stuff is just the regular sheet steel that I got from the store. I ended up getting a lot of my metal I used from Lowe's, as well as my welding wire. Here's another picture towards the front. This is without the platforms, so I'm welding in this piece. This is actually a flat bar, and then it's welded to a piece of this angle iron here. Now that, again, you can see over here on the right hand side just how much rust there is. This is underneath where the radiator was. You can see down on the bottom where I put in a whole new piece and really beefed up this back section here. A lot of welding, a lot of wire went there, so I don't think that'll be breaking anymore. That should be well welded in there, and you can just see here the vast majority of this is all just rusted out. Some of this I did cut out just so I could get other pieces in there, but most of this was all rusted out. And then on the bottom, pretty much finished with that side.
So this is a John Deere 6x4 Gator, meaning 6 wheels, 4-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drive comes from the back 4 wheels. There's no power given to the front. As I said, I bought off of Craigslist. It needed a ton of work, but I thought for the price that I would love to go for it, because it had a lot of good working components that was well over the worth of what the guy was asking. So we'll start in the front here. The front fenders were kind of cracked, so I ended up taking the rest of them off for the most part. You can see there's still part of the front fender here, as well as on this side the fender's completely gone. And the front piece is still in okay shape, but as you can see kind of down here, the headlight covers are missing, the headlights aren't in great shape, and the front hood is cracked. So that eventually will be getting replaced. As well, when I bought it, this shock right here, the piece on the inside, there's like a bushing, and the bushing had kind of come out, and so I fixed that. I welded the bushing in place, and then so that works well. You can see on the floor here how rusted out it was. A lot of the frame was like this, so the frame wasn't that great. So I ended up cutting out the floor so I could do a lot of work on the underside, and I welded some other pieces under the side. Over here, this side, right all in here, was rusted out really well, and so I ended up cutting it out and putting in new steel plates to help really beef that up and to make that look good again. So can't really even see where I welded in more pieces, as well as with all these back tires, kind of where the bolts go in. So on this side, had a lot of the same issues. You can see down here the grating for the radiator is missing on this side. It's on the front. These right here are the plates that I welded in. I also welded in this plate. I don't know if you can see that, but I welded a couple on here, and it's got a great working engine that I haven't really had a whole lot of problems with. I do need to get another fuel pump. I ordered that, so that should be here soon. I need to replace that because that wasn't working. It has electric linear dump in the back, so that'll be nice. I think it's rated for probably 600 pounds. I'm not exactly sure. One problem I do need to address in the back is with the CVT clutch down in there. The CVT does not let me shift gears all the time. It sometimes clutches onto the belt before I need it to. So I need to add a little bit more spring in that so that it takes a little bit more engine RPM to clamp down on the belt. The way that works essentially is the faster the engine spins, the more that the outside pulley piece clamps in, and so it changes the belt ratio. And then once it spins fast enough, this pulley up here expands, and so the pulley ratio is changed drastically. So on the back here, it was rusted out somewhat again. I didn't need to do nearly as much back here, but I welded in this back rectangular metal piece in the back here, which turned out pretty well. I need to do a little bit of work on the bed. As you can see here, there's a crack. So this kind of bends here, which it shouldn't. So I need to weld up that there and bend some pieces, as well as on this side. It's more just need to bend this piece right here back out. Side, I had to do a lot of welding work in the back underneath here. A lot of, like, this piece is new. I put in a whole bunch of work underneath here. I need to finish painting it. And then also for the step, I added this bar right up here, and then a whole bunch of this stuff is new. It did come with this big piece of C-track. I think it's probably 1/4 inch C-track, and so that's really been beefing this thing up and really giving it a lot of the strength. To do all the welding, I was using a flux core welder. It says it was rated up for 3/16 inch steel, but you know, I haven't had much problems, especially with some of this this big piece in the back here. There's also supposed to be a plastic covering that goes over this whole compartment. So the gas tank's under there. There's supposed to be a covering that goes over that. I have that. I just want to finish up some more stuff before I put that on. As well as I need to get another seat and then a seat bracket like that. So I'll probably end up ordering 2 seats just because this one is really falling apart. So that's the project for the Gator over the next couple months. I hope to be able to put out some more videos about fixing it up and the work that goes into it. Alright, let's get into it.